Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in. Nate here from Preparation 101, and today I thought I'd take you guys out on a little camping trip with me. I'm geared up, think I found the spot. I've been in this area before. This is an area I like to come back to whenever I have new things to test out. I've done a few videos here testing out some different gear, so some of this might look familiar to you, to those of you that have been following along for a while. So I've got 3 new things I want to test out today. Two of which are pieces of gear, and one is a technique. It's actually quite a bit colder out here than I was expecting it to be. I don't know if you can tell on these trees behind me, but this fog's been freezing to them, so that's going to add some challenges. I only brought a wool blanket and a snug pack jungle blanket for my bedding with me, so I'm definitely going to need lots of firewood to stay warm. So anyways, I'm going to set up my shelter where the camera is, and then I got a lot of wood cutting to do. So between these 2 trees here, I'm going to be setting up my tarp, and that's the first new thing I have to use. The tarp's not new, but I've never camped out in it. I don't think I've ever done just a quick tarp shelter camp out before. I usually build a shelter whenever I'm out, or if I'm out car camping, then I might string up a tarp up over the top of my cot, not hammock, cot. But anyways, next to me here, there's a big log, which will kind of block the wind from one side. Right out here is going to be a nice place to have a fire. The ground is pretty frozen, so it's going to be hard to get that cleaned up and leveled up. But I'm going to get this spot prepped and start stringing up that tarp. So I got the AquaQuest Defender 7x10 tarp here. It's a pretty cool tarp. I really like it. I just haven't used it that much and thought this would be a good chance to. So the way I have this rolled up here, got the tarp rolled up nice and neat in the pouch, and then inside of the pouch here I've got cordage for tying out my ridge lines and any other lines that I need to tie. So first things first, let's get that ridge line put up. So it's kind of a little bit of guesswork for me on how high I want to set this up to start with, so I might have to come back and adjust it. I'm thinking about this high, that way I can sit all the way up inside of it. So I'm just going to make a bowline knot on the end of this really quickly. There we go. So I got my loop. See, I want to go this way. I think that's the right height I want. Feed all my cordage through there. Cinch it down tight. One thing I don't like that much about paracord is all the stretch it has, so I'm going to pull this baby really tight, so that way halfway in the night it's not sagging and then my tarp's flapping around keeping me awake. I think that's level, might be a little too high. We'll see. So what I'm going to do here, it's about right. Yeah, about right there, I'm going to make a trucker's hitch. So I'll make a loop. And then the side that I want to pull from, this isn't going to show up very good to you guys, I don't think, but the side that I want to pull from, I'm going to pull that loop through here. Then I can take this cordage here, put it back through that. Well, kind of pulled tight on itself, but you get the point. And I'm just going to make that really nice and tight. Still looks level. Yeah, I think that's tight enough right there. So I'm just going to put 2 little half hitches in here. Just to hold it in place, and then it'll be easy to undo whenever I'm done. All right. I think that'll be about right. Let's get the tarp opened up. Oh man, I told you guys I was not very good at this because I'm not very practiced at it. I gotta run my ridge line through my tarp for the way I'm gonna set this up. So with this end of the tarp here, I'm just going to anchor this off to where I tied around the tree. I'm going to do this in a way that I can easily adjust it because I want my tarp to be further down to that tree. Now to the other end. So now I need to get this corner pulled tight. And to do that, I'm going to use a prusik. So I've already got a little loop made. I'm using bank line because I found that if you use paracord on paracord for your prusik, it doesn't seem to hold as tight. It'll slide on itself a little bit. But using the bank line, I found it just really grabs a hold of the paracord and doesn't slip. So I'm gonna loop this through twice. Make sure it pulls all the way tight. Then to attach this to my tarp, just going to put a stick in it. It's pretty good. So now I've got my handy dandy axe. Going to get some stakes to finish stretching this tarp out, so I'm going to go sharpen some sticks. Wow. Yeah, that ground is way too frozen. So I'm gonna have to figure out something else to do to stretch this thing out. Darn it. Well, I can just go around finding things like this to tie off to, and hopefully it doesn't get real windy. See if I can find a couple more anchors. Well, I think that'll work. I don't like how this is kind of elevated right here, but hopefully there isn't too much of a breeze. So next thing I gotta do, I'm gonna pull up the middle, tie it up to a branch up here, and show you guys what it looks like on the inside. That's one thing that's cool about these tarps with the tie-outs in the middle, is you can just really open them up inside. And once I get that fire going, it's just going to be a nice little pocket of warm air in there. Oh yeah. Bones likes it too. So even though I do have that little foam pad, it's not thick enough to use it by itself in here. So I am going to have to go, okay. So I am going to have to get some boughs to make a bedding out of. Oh gosh. I want to make sure that I don't get too cold. I want to sleep good tonight. Well, it's about noon right now, and this breeze, whew, it's chilly. It is not really warming up today. I can tell that the sun is starting to shine a little brighter through the fog. I think the fog might be lifting a little bit. I hope it does. I hope it does, and we get some nice sunshine to thaw this ground out a little bit for me. So just going to give you guys a quick little tour of where I'm at before I start collecting my bedding. So there's camp. If you look out behind me there, you can see the old road, which has a bunch of ice in it up there a ways. I might go slide around a little bit. We'll see. And one cool thing about next to my camp here is I got this big old down log, and that'll be a nice seat for when I'm sitting around the fire this evening. There's lots of down trees here. Been cut by chainsaw. I don't know why. I've been coming to this spot for a couple of years now, and they've been down here ever since I started coming in. So I don't know what the reason for them getting cut down was, but as you can see there behind me, down that log, all those branches sticking up. That's going to just make some great firewood for me. That's one of the main reasons I picked the spot. Then if I walk over this way, you guys can see down there is more logs and a bunch more firewood. So all that's going to come in handy. It's right here close to camp. And then even beyond that, if I can get the right angle, where are we? I'll just walk down there. Got the creek down there. I don't know if you guys could hear that. But that's going to be nice tonight, sleeping next to the fire with the sounds of the creek in the background. I hope I sleep good. If I stay warm, I think those are the conditions for a really good night's sleep. So the next order of business, gathering up some of these spruce branches and some fir branches, whatever I can find that are nice and fluffy like these, to make a bed out of. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to take lower branches from a few different trees. I'm not going to fall a sapling and just to limb it up. This time of year is the best time to prune trees, so if you need any tree trimming done at home, this is the time of year to do it. Also, these trees, as they grow taller, they naturally shed their lower branches so that the tree can send more energy up to the top because it wants to get as tall as it can. So, I'm not hurting anything for those of you that are wondering. I'm just speeding up the process for the tree a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to get a few armloads of these, spread them out, and then once I get my bedding done, it's going to be time for a fire. I cannot wait to warm up. It's chilly. My face is cold right now. Whew. Yeah, hope it warms up some this afternoon. think I got enough, so start spreading it out. When I do this for comfort, I like to put the thicker branches on the bottom and then put the thinner, smaller branches over the top of that because they're a little softer. I'm going to put a little extra where my core is going to be at. That's going to be the heaviest part, and throughout the night these are going to smash down. So I'm going to put a little bit of extra for my midsection. Oh yeah, I think once I get my pad in here, I'll have plenty of insulation. I hope so anyways. So one of the new skills that I wanted to try was building a log fire tonight. So right before I go to bed, I can start these logs up and hopefully the fire will burn nice and hot and evenly throughout the night. And these two logs here, they're just left behind by whoever was running around out here with a chainsaw. So I figured I might as well save myself the energy and use them up. They aren't quite as long, they're only about as long as my axe. They're not quite as long as I wanted. I was shooting for something about 4 feet, but these are actually thicker than what I would have been able to cut with my saw. And so they should burn longer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the side, one side on each log flat so that they can meet up together. And I'll bring them over by my fire pit, and before bed, I will scoop the coals away, lay the bigger log, which I think is this one, lay that one down with the flat side up, shovel my coals onto the top of this, and then flip this other log over on top of it, and hopefully the two of them should burn nice and evenly together. I will probably prop up some rocks next to them in case they burn awkwardly and roll over. That way I don't have a log rolling into my shelter or a log rolling away and starting something on fire that I don't want on fire. So anyways, yeah, this will save me some energy. And they're pretty solid still. They're not rotten. They don't seem rotten. They also should be pretty dry. The sides on the ground might be a little damp, but those will be the parts that actually burn last, because these are frozen right now. This one's not as bad. That one I couldn't move. So hopefully when the sun warms it up, I can move it. And yeah, the frozen sides will be the last sides that burn, so they should thaw out and dry out as the rest of the log's burning. So this will be an interesting experiment for me, something I've never tried. But now I got some work cutting these things flat. Get back. Chopping these logs is one way to get warmed up. They say the firewood warms you twice. Once while you're cutting it, and then again when you're burning it. Back. Now it's time to make a fire. All right. What do we got? Yeah, 1 o'clock. It's a good time for lunch, so we can get a fire going and heat up my lunch. So you can see behind me, got all this firewood just growing up off of this log here. So I'm gonna do the whole normal routine. Cut them down, cut them open, make some shavings and all that jazz. Then I'll have me a nice warm fire. Watch out. So, I've carved out a whole bunch of shavings, used my little seat pad as kind of a catch for it, keep them all in one place. And I made a few feather sticks as well. I'm going to start this fire a little differently than normal. Back whenever I first got into putting together my own pack, I'm going to adjust this camera real quick. That's better. Back when I first started getting into putting together my own kits and different things like that, I always thought it was a good idea to have matches at the time. So I took a chew can, a bunch of those, I just found this the other day, that's why I wanted to bring it with me, but a bunch of those cheapo, I think that's Coughlin's brand waterproof matches, and filled the chew can full of matches, and inside the lid I glued the strikers. So today I want to use one match. See if I can do this with just one little match. You can do it. You can do it. Come on, Mr. Fire. I think we might have done it. One match. All right, guys, we got some sunshine. Still cold though. The fire is going pretty good. Gonna go boil some water to heat up my lunch with. So let's go down to the creek and grab some. So for lunch and dinner and breakfast, brought one of my meal packs. Got some drink mixes, energy bar, crackers, jerky, Vienna sausage, and 2 of those little completes meals, which is what I'm heating up that cup of water for. I'll just drop this completes meal in the hot water. So anyways, this is what I'm talking about for my lunch. I think it's ready. I hope it's ready, because if it's not, there's no going back. Straight out the Bush microwave. Oh yeah, that looks good. It's a nice little meal right there. It's hot. I'm gonna go kick back, eat my lunch. Yeah, just kicked back in the shelter here. Behind me, I got my sleeping pad, just using that to prop my head up. Got the fire out in front of me here, just catching a little bit of heat off of that. Got Bones right here. Rolled up in my sleeping pad, I don't know if I mentioned, I've got a wool blanket. That's one of the other new pieces of gear that I have to try out today, is this new wool blanket that I got. I can't remember the brand name of it, but before I was just using the Polish military surplus wool blankets, which I think they're like 80 or 85% wool, and they're kind of small. This one that I have, it's a little bit bigger, and I think it's 95% wool. So the extra size to wrap up in, along with being a higher percentage of actual wool, should be a bit warmer for me. So I'm hoping that's going to be how it works out. And the other thing I've got over here, I have, it's a weird angle, Teton pillow. I love that thing. I used to just roll up a sweatshirt or something to use it as a pillow, but man, that little pillow does wonders. The other thing I've got here is my Snug Pack jungle blanket, and I've opened the compression straps up on it to let it start to fill up with air. I'm going to wait till close to bedtime before I pull it all the way out. That way Bones isn't in here trying to snuggle up in it and getting all dirty. But these blankets here, for those of you that don't know, they're actually windproof and water resistant. So what I'm going to do, since I don't have to, I'm not sleeping super close to the fire, is I'll wrap up in the wool blanket. And since this Snug Pack blanket gets kind of lofty, I'm going to throw that on the top so that the wool blanket isn't compressing it, and that should give me the most amount of insulation I can get out of this thing. So yeah, I'm just gonna kick back for a little bit, catch some energy back up from my lunch, and then it's gonna be time to start hauling in firewood. And I'm kind of nervous actually about this log fire that I'm gonna try, because these logs are big, and when they're stacked up, it's gonna be like probably 2 to 2.5 feet high. And yeah, I don't have enough rocks around here that I can stack up. So I think I'm going to cut another log to kind of lean up on it, hopefully. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I hope it works. But we'll see when we get there. But anyways, I'm just going to enjoy this fire. That was a lot of work. I'm going to show you guys around, give you a quick little update on where everything's at right now. So, I've got my firewood pile there. Keep in mind, that's not all the wood that I have. I have those big old logs. I've got my slash pile here, just all the smaller twigs that I broke off of those branches I cut up. Got my 2 logs ready to be stacked on top of each other. And if that does not work out, well, I'm gonna burn them one way or the other to stay warm. So around my fire pit here, oh yeah, in front of my shelter, I've got the big old stone. That's gonna be my safety barrier for whenever I set the logs up. I'm gonna set the logs up just behind this current fire here, like right along that edge of it. So I've grabbed some other stones for kind of propping things out. I was hoping to be able to dig and level it out, but this ground is still so stinking frozen. And then I grabbed some rotten logs for if my log fire rolls backwards, those will catch it and keep it from running into anything that could be dangerous. So next I have that log over there that I need to limb up and cut to length, and that's going to be my bracer log. So hopefully this all works. I think I forgot to tell you guys, the big pile of firewood, that's only for burning after bedtime. Until bedtime, I will continue to go and grab whatever I need to put on the fire from around camp. There's still a bunch of low-hanging dead branches and stuff close by, only like 4 or 5 steps away, so I'll just keep feeding that stuff on until it's bedtime, and then I'll use up the other wood. I think I'm gonna roll out my mattress. Move over. Give this thing a chance to flatten out a bit. Oh. I think this will be all right for the night. Can you move over, please? Move over here. Move over here. Yeah, I've been wondering about an air mattress like the Big Agnes. So that way it'd be thick enough that I wouldn't have to put anything underneath like this little pad. But how does something like that hold up to a dog, like if my dog were to walk on it? Because he's always going to snuggle right up next to me whenever it's cold outside so he can stay warm. So that's the only reason I haven't gotten one, is because I'm not sure how well that could hold up. But anyways, I hope this will be warm enough tonight. I hope I got enough under me. That's the main part that I'm worried about, is my underside. I'm gonna try and do this in a way you guys can see. It's getting dark, obviously. There's a little bit of light left. I'm getting tired, and I want to watch this log fire for about an hour before I try to go to sleep, just to see what it looks like and how it's doing and if it's going to keep burning, because I really don't want to lose my coals in the middle of the night. So I'm going to rake this fire back a little bit, and then I'll drag the first log over and get to work on it. I do need a couple of spacers to give this some room to breathe to start burning initially. And I'm going to need to put the coals in here, put some twigs in, and then slap the other piece on top. Sounds simple, right? at the same time, I don't want this fire to go out yet till I see what's going to happen. I don't know, guys. Maybe my logs were a little damp and this only works if they're all the way dry. I think this is one of those things I'm going to have to experiment with whenever I don't really need to do it. So I'm going to just have a fire going with one log at a time, and that should hopefully keep me good and warm throughout the night. So I'll get this readjusted here. I just don't have faith in this setup right now. I'm gonna have to experiment with it and practice it. But hey, that's how you learn. Well guys, that's pretty much it for me tonight. Time to kick my boots off, get my socks all good and dried out, and cover up with some blankets and try to catch some Z's. So if anything interesting happens throughout the night, I'll try and check back in. If not, I will see you guys in the morning.
Morning. It's about 4:30. It's been a long night. Just keeping the fire going. Fire kept me pretty warm. Still have firewood left over. I'm just gonna stay laying in here. Just throw a few more pieces of wood on the fire and just lay down for a little bit. And then I think I'm gonna wait for it to start getting a little bit light before I get up and have breakfast. Yeah, that's how the night's been, just keeping the fire going. Yeah, it was actually a really quiet night. The only sounds really were the sounds of the fire and the creek. I didn't hear anything else. And it's been very clear, so I can just look out from where I'm at right now, look out and see the stars, which is pretty nice, really nice and clear for the stars. But that being nice and clear comes with a cost. It does add a little bit more bite to the air, a little cooler. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, you can. You can see a little bit. It's starting to get light out there. It looks darker in the camera than it actually is right now. I'm just warming my toes up a bit, get my socks all nice and warm before I stick my feet in my boots. That way my feet aren't freezing cold once they're in my boots. For breakfast, I just got a little package of peanut butter crackers and a protein bar that I'm gonna eat. Just something, you know, quick and easy, grab and go. Because once it gets light out, I gotta pack up and get out of here. I gotta go back to work. Man, I'm not showing up very good, am I? I gotta go back to work tonight, so I'm gonna try and get out of here kind of early because I got some stuff I gotta do at home, and then try and catch some sleep in the afternoon before working all night. Anyways, yeah, it's been pretty fun so far. Been pretty cool. My logs worked out all right. They're still there, still burning. My firewood pile, can't really see. There's still some left in that too. Stayed warm for the most part throughout the night. Towards this morning, my feet got cold. But yep, I'm gonna eat my breakfast up. And I think next time you see me, I'll be packing up. Well, that was a nice little trip. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the new ones coming up. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.